Everybody, this is Scott from Social Media Mastery, and welcome back to the group of how to create your next $10,000 using video conferencing. And today, we're talking to you about the 5 secrets to get your niche to respond and to take action. So, as we call it, conditions are changing and altering, and people are kind of working out what they're doing at the moment. We just wanted to show you some stuff that has always worked and show you evidence of it continuing to work even today. Like, even as recently as today, this stuff is still working. The economy is still there to access. The big difference is that the people that generally are in these models where they leave everything up to chance, they work when they work and they don't when they don't. The thing about like how to make your business work is that the more that you understand your business, the more control you have over it. This is not about doing extra work. This is not about getting exhausted. It's just about understanding like what actually is it that we're playing with. Because this stuff is easy. It's in this video. You've got it here. So let's get into this because this is fun. We love to be able to give you these trainings. And so there are these 5 secrets to get your niche to respond to take action so that you can get amazing results. So again, thanks for being in the group. Let's get straight into the training. So we call it the A to E of reciprocity. So what's the number one way to get your niche to respond? Because you need them to pay attention to you, because if they don't, then there's no business. You may find that, like, whether it's online or Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever it is that you are using, or whether it had been network events, or maybe it's on the phone, or you've got customers that are not acting the way you want them to act, whether it's from Google, whether it's from blogging, maybe you're outsourcing, you're paying somebody else to do this work for you. Maybe you work in addiction for like smoking or ice or heroin or marijuana or alcohol or food addictions. Maybe you help people to lose weight. Maybe you're a relationship coach. Maybe you help people to find a date, to lose a date, to stop fighting, to get on better, to be a better mum, better dad, better kid, better whatever it is you do, or to get that promotion, to get the confidence to see people better, whatever it is that you help people to do. Or maybe you help people with business, with finance, with leads, sales, Facebook, traffic, whatever it is that you do. These same 5 rules will apply to any of that. So any of that you do, this will apply to. And so this is what they are. It really comes down to the A to E of reciprocity. You need them to respond, and then you need them to take action. And it's done through what we call approach, banter, context, do list, and then execute. So it's easy to remember because it's the A to E. So just to kind of explain this a little bit, it's that first, how do you approach them for the first time? So depending whether you're seeing them one-on-one or whether you're talking to them as a group, just out into the world, like through Facebook posts or whatever you're doing, there's specific ways to approach people to make sure that they actually respond. You need them to kind of basically admit that you exist. You need them to be able to actually acknowledge your existence and play along with what you've asked them to do. Then you need them to banter with you. You need to kind of have them see you as not just relatable, that they can see that you're close enough to who they are, that they can understand you and you can understand them. They can see that you understand their world. Also, that you're an authority, that you're somebody who has results, somebody that they look up to. And then you've got a context, as in you've got this big picture that you can help them with. So the big picture is really important. What's the result that you help people to achieve? What's the result that you help people to achieve? Most people still are a little bit fuzzy on that. And it's before the isolation, they were still fuzzy on that. So this is not a recent issue. This is something that's been an issue for a very long time. And it's time to really to know, what is it that you help people to do? So if somebody asked you, like, if I was to give you money, why would I do it? Like, what for? What do I get? You've got to be able to clearly answer that question. The do list is in, like, what are your steps? How do you help them? How can you make it simple? How can you make them a little roadmap? A little roadmap to get to where they want to be. And the execute, what are you asking them to do next? So let's get straight into this. So if you're having trouble with, let's say, Facebook posts or leads, have you put out posts on Facebook? And have you put leads out on Facebook? Or sorry, looked for leads on Facebook where you're getting phone numbers, email addresses, names, stuff like that from people? Have you struggled to do that in any way? Or potentially sometimes been guilty of blaming the system on the changes and saying the algorithm's not happening or it's not working for you, they've changed it, and now they're hiding your posts? Or blaming the market and saying that, like, oh, nobody wants to respond. That is something that we've all done in the past. Some people are still doing it. The idea is to get strategic, not to be a victim, but to understand the method, how to get to the other side of this. And then you can do it. And we're showing you in this video. Booking sales calls isn't getting somebody on the phone to buy something from you, like either a $3,000 or a $10,000 program. Doing a sales call where you add value to them first, and then you sell, and having them say yes and then hand the money over, and then to really enjoy the relationship as it goes, like where you then add value to them and you help them out. You really give them expertise either in health, money, relationships, perhaps time management, spirituality, fun, whatever it is that you help people to do for them to really, really enjoy that relationship, but for you to make the sale. Market research. Maybe you're asking people out there, what do you want these days? And maybe nobody's responding to you. Maybe people just ignore you. You just see tumbleweeds go past. Or clients who won't comply. They are a client. They argue, they disagree, they perhaps won't pay, or that you find that they've just stopped paying for some reason. There is a reason for each one of these things. And once they're addressed, these problems go away. So it's really important to see all of these, if they're problems, they're a stage in your business. So if you would like to scale your business like as what we have, these are the things that you need to conquer. So how do you do it? So if you're getting no clients, that you're doing the best you can, just honestly, hand on heart, you've looked for clients, you've found that just nobody wants to do business with you, or not enough people want to do business with you, or you've found that there's been a downturn of some kind. And to be honest, it's not just recent for a lot of people. It's something that's been a problem going on for a very long time. Sometimes 6 months, sometimes 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years. A lot of people, they've got this message in their heart. They've got this thing they want to help people with, but they might be the best expert on the planet in their topic, but it's not much good if they're just getting no clients. Or they put something out on Facebook and nobody wants to reply. Again, like tumbleweeds, they put out a message to say like, hey, I need to find out what people want right now. No reply. Hey, I'm looking for people to join my program. No reply. Have you experienced that? Is that something that you've suffered from and that you're basically saying to yourself, if I knew how to fix this, I would fix this. If I had a strategy that worked every time, well, that would be great. I would use that. Absolutely, I'd use that. I want 20 clients a week, or 6 to 7 figures, or $100,000 per year. I want to be able to help people doing something meaningful. I want to be able to, while in isolation, use the internet, Skype people, do video calls or phone calls or group Zoom calls. I want to be able to help people and have the confidence to do that, the strategy to do it without getting exhausted, without kind of getting too confused. I would love to be. So if that's something that you are looking to do, again, we're covering that. Or you find that either you've got no money or your clients keep telling you that they have no money. They come from a small village, which means nothing now that the internet exists. It's like, I can't stress that enough. There is money out there. There's nearly 8 billion people on the planet. If they all spent $1 per day, that's like $8 billion per day getting spent. I'm still doing brilliantly. My business partner, Jackie Hutton, again, still doing brilliantly. She messages me time after time, sometimes multiple times a day, going, I just made a 3.5K sale, then another one. I just made 2 sales today. I just made 3 sales today. It's unbelievable, but it's happening, and it's happening right now, even after this change of circumstances, because of the strategy, because we've basically divided it. Instead of just like one step, we've divided it into the multiple steps that you do, and then we've broken those steps down and executed them really well. Maybe you've had online trolls. This is something that happens to people. It happens to people quite a lot. They've put something out there. Maybe it's been a family member. Maybe it's been a stranger. Maybe it's been a friend, another student, whoever it is, or just an old customer, whatever it is. Have you had somebody troll you? Have you had somebody be mean to you online? And then you've kind of given hope, or given up hope, because just sort of thinking that it's too toxic out there, that everybody's cruel. There is a way to manage this and to get rid of trolls. Especially when if somebody trolls your comment, or if somebody trolls you on Facebook in any way publicly, the best thing that you can do, the absolute best thing that you can do, is not reframe their argument and try to educate them. Delete their comment and move on. If you leave their comment there, it will attract more. Consider somebody who's trolling you publicly, consider that to be graffiti. What we worked out in back as far back as just the 70s is that we worked out that the best thing you can do with graffiti on a wall is paint over it. Because if there's one piece of graffiti, there's kind of like an exponential bell curve. It attracts more of itself faster when it's there already. The same as litter. Somebody sees like, oh, this house is a bit dirty, so I'll just kind of use some stuff and not clean it myself. But people respect things that are clean. So you've got to set the standard. You're teaching people how to treat you. So just if somebody trolls you, delete it and move on. And do not give them the power. Like people will say, how dare you be in business? Or every time you exist, every time you speak, every time you do anything, there's always somebody who disagrees with you and always somebody who wants to cut you down. You've got to ignore those people. They're not your tribe. Go where you are celebrated. Don't go where you're tolerated. The right people won't argue with you that way, if that makes sense. So delete them, move on. Be around the right energy of the right people. So here are some examples of results that we're getting now, this week. I'm really, really excited actually just to show you this. So I'm just going to have a sip of my water. Alrighty. And again, thank you so much for being on this video. So here are some examples of results that we're getting now. This is really recent. So this is just the 25th of March. You can see 55 comments, 2 shares. Those 2 shares were me, but the 55 comments. So if I just read it out to you, how to use your phone to sell programs and Facebook to get phone numbers. Type I'm in to download my ebook. Now, because I usually use Facebook groups to promote these kinds of posts, I find that I get my best results where I'm most consistent. So in a group that I've got called How to Cure Addiction with Hypnotherapy, because I'm always posting, another one called Hypnosis Business Success. I've been a clinical hypnotherapist for 10 years now. And so I've become, because I just keep putting things out, I've become really well known in the hypnotherapy community and then in the coaching community, the NLP community, as I've spread my wings a bit. The groups that I get the best results from are the ones that I'm the most consistent with. So in Helen Mitas's group, the one called Hypnosis Business Success, she's got a day on Tuesdays called Talk It Up Tuesday. And in that group, that's where I get usually, between 1 to 200 comments or people saying I'm in if a post is popular. So, but this particular one, I did it on my news feed, which is where I've gotten the least results. And look at that, I've got 55 people saying I'm in. The reason that it worked so well is because it's clear and people already understand the results. So like when I was talking through like the A to E of reciprocity, so like there's the approach and then there's the banter, the context, the do list, and then the execute. You can see that the execute's at the bottom. So type I'm in to download my ebook. The approach, so that I've made sure that people know what the topic is. So let's look at another example. So 144 comments. And so this was in January that I put this up. But a lot of these comments are really recent. So you can see kind of on the right, I've only just taken a screenshot of this, like where it says 1 day ago, 1 day ago, 1 day, 1 day. So it says, how to create your online course and sell 10 in 4 hours. Type I'm in to download my ebook 4-hour course. It's actually easy. So 144 just from a post like that. So I've put no money on that post. I've just posted it and I've gotten 144 comments. So it's amazing that you can do this stuff. But sometimes when people have tried to copy this kind of a post, there's some errors that they make that they may not be able to see the difference between their post and mine. Little things like, say, like in this, you can see how the how is capitalized, so the HOW, then the to, no capitals. It's not an important word, so no capitals. Create your online course, the first letter's capitals, and no capitals. Sell 10 in 4 hours. Numbers help with posts. And then type I'm in to download my ebook, 4-hour course. So 4-hour course is a brilliant title. Well, I think it's a brilliant title. It was very, very popular. And so it was a brilliant title because like it sort of says right there what it is and how long. It's contained. Like, would you like to be able to build a course in 4 hours? Here's an ebook for free. So obviously something of that much value, people are wanting, they want. They happy to give me their name, email address, and phone number. And so here's some other examples. So one by Jackie Hutton on the left. So 3 stealable sales scripts that convert close to 100% on the phone. Type I'm in to download the 3 phone scripts. And she's used a different color background, like a yellow one, so to stand out from some other posts. If all of you posted the same color, people will think they've already read it. So that's why we change it up every now and then. So 83 comments, that's amazing. And when was that done? So just on the 6th of April. So for me, at the moment, it's the 10th of April. So that's 4 days ago. So that's amazing. So like 4 days and she's got 83 comments. So this is the same one again. Then how to attract clients with 3 web page tweaks. Type I'm in to watch 6-figure web page basics, a video that I put out, 35 comments on the 7th of April. So it's not hard. So you want to make sure that you're approaching people in the right way. This is just from yesterday. So I basically today, as putting these slides together, I took a picture of my PayPal account. So on the left, you can see everything has COVID written on it now. So our COVID-19 response relief for small. So whatever that is, I haven't looked into that. But there was 2 payments that came through in the morning. And then my FPOS, 780, I've just blown that up there so you can see it. So that's $1,260 that I just took in sales yesterday. The economy is still going just fine. It's there. So it's about getting out of that employee mindset of like you can only access this many units per week. If you're doing something that more people want, more people buy it, you grow. If that makes sense. Like what is the rule, like this non-existent rule that says that you have to stay small? What is the non-existent rule that says that you can't have, an income of like 5 to 20 grand a week? Like last year, I did about 250K. Our next goal is to do the million in a year. And so I did a quarter of that by myself. And so with Jackie Hutton, our plans, like it got a little bit interrupted with the current situation, but we've transitioned to online and that's what this group's about. So the economy is still working if you work it. That's why we've just changed what we're doing slightly. That all of those face-to-face seminars that we've done, we've filmed it. We can sell that. But if you haven't filmed a seminar yet, there's still things you can do. Like I'm using Google Slides. You can see kind of like on the right-hand side of the screen, can you see like those 3 symbols? That's there because I'm actually just filming off my phone. I've literally got my phone in my hand and my headset just plugged into my ears. So the microphone's there, kind of like around just under chin height. I'm actually just talking to my phone. I'm recording this on my phone using an app called Screen Recorder and Google Slides. That's all I'm doing. So even without getting out in front of a room, I'm still just producing content. Or just like recently on Monday that we did our Monday Zoom calls from my office. So here's some older examples, just so you can see that like our approach hasn't really had to change that much for the new situation. It really hasn't had to change that much. So here's another one of 2 of Jackie's. One was with 15 replies or 15 comments. Free 30-minute strategy session for those who completed the group challenge. Comment completed. So that's how she's gotten people on the phone. And then she's telling me, 3.5K sale, 3.5K sale, 3.5K sale. It's brilliant. And then the next one, besides money, what's the hardest thing about running your business? So this is like what we call like the niche insider. In basically where we're finding out, or Jackie's finding out what people want, so that when she's writing headlines, you can see like where she's got 305 comments there. So 305 people are giving her data, giving her their opinions on what's the hardest thing about running their business. So when she's making the next headlines, it's easy for her to get more people on the call because she knows what headlines attract people. And so here's more of Jackie's work. So Smile Media, which is her company, download 5 conversion templates, like massive conversion rate by putting out something that just people want. People would like to get 5 conversion templates. Learn marketing that works today. Get results quicker and easier with templates that work. Stop hustling for clients. Use strategies to increase conversions. Get the templates. So leads are easy. And so are sales. They're just 2 different tactics. Here's an older one of mine. It was quite a popular one. So 120 comments. 4 emotional triggers to cure addicts. Type I'm in to download our ebook, The 4 Emotional Triggers to Cure Addiction. So when you claim your topic, when you know what the outcome is you help people with, it is so fast to get leads. That's why one of your best tactics is to get really clear on what it is that you actually help people with. Really kind of bringing that courage and claiming your topic. Being an expert at one thing and really becoming the best at that one thing. It helps you to become wider later as well when you want to branch out to other topics. Because the skills that you get from mastering one topic, they help you to master 10 topics later on. So this is one of Jackie's emails that she's put out. Get social media feedback to get more sales. We have 10 people, we have had 10 people share their Facebook page for feedback. We're looking for just 5 more. So this is something that she's used, an email. So like when people have entered their email address. So she uses Facebook posts to get people to ask for a strategy session. And then she sells using that system acronym that we covered on Monday's Zoom call. And then also she uses these emails to get people into those as well. So there's a strategy for each part. So phone sales are also doing fine. I want you to thrive, not just survive. So again, thanks for being part of this group. There's still a lot more of this video to go, but I just want to pause for a second and just thank you for being a part of this group, making sure that you're putting into your diary the Zoom calls that we do each week, making sure that you're letting us know what you'd like for us to cover, because we love it. For us, it's a real passion. Money's fine. We're very blessed, very fortunate that way. Not lucky, we've done the work, but we are fortunate, we are blessed to live in a place where we can do this. We've got, access to this information to do it. And we want to make sure that you guys are getting the breakdown of exactly how to do it as well. And if you've been on one of our calls before, like, you know what it's like, you know the value that's given, and the questions you ask will get answered. So there's them versus you. You have to think from their point of view. So too many people are talking about their skills. Let's say they've got a qualification or they've got some knowledge. Most people kind of like say they don't care. If you ask, like, say, what if the surgeon asked you, do you prefer to be operated on using a blue or a yellow scalpel? I'm like, I don't care. It's like, but if you've got a tumor, you just like, get it out. I just want the results. They don't really care about your method. So when you think from their point of view, you sort of get that the way to get their attention is that you've got to talk about what's on their mind and then bring them to your point of view. So here's how it works. But first, let's have a stretch because we're about to go deep. We're about to go into some strategies. So if you've got a pen and paper, make sure that you're ready. So it's not like, we've just been bantering up until this point, but we're really about to get tactical. We're about to get into it. So have a stretch, get ready, pause if you have to, get a glass of water. Actually, good cue for me. I'm about to have a sip of my water. All right, let's go. So again, the A to E of reciprocity, the approach, how do you first contact them? The banter, so how do you relate? And then how do you produce authority? The content, the real central goal of the outcome you help them to achieve. The do list, which is like your roadmap, how you help them, what they do. And then the execute, what you want them to do next. These are the 5 stages that no matter what you're doing, it's like if you ask a mate to have dinner with you, or now maybe it's like a Skype dinner or something, or a Zoom call dinner, or a phone call, beer or something, with whatever you're doing, it's the same 5 steps. So this matches human psychology for a lot of things. So step 1, the approach. So we've broken this into 2 parts first. So number 1, are you putting out a group message? So group being either an ad, paid ad, free ad, whatever you're doing, or an email or a post. So are you putting it out into the masses? Or the other one, which is like the one-on-one, are you messaging, private messaging, texting, calling, or approaching just one person at a time? The approach needs to be different depending which one you're doing. So step 1, the approach. For group, if you're putting this out to the masses, topic before contact. So before you ever get anything from them, they already need to know what it's about, if that makes sense. So make your message clear. So here's an example. I put this out. So before I made contact, before I got any contact back from them, how to use your phone to sell programs and Facebook to get phone numbers was clear enough that I've already made my message clear before I got contact from them. Then 55 people made contact with me. So that's going to the masses. So don't say things like, message me to find out stuff. It's too vague. You need to be specific. Or who needs a coach? Coach is whether it's hypnotherapist, coach, Reiki master, NLP master, whatever it is that you're doing. That's about your skill and modality. If I just go back, notice how I didn't say marketing coach. I didn't say click here to or type I'm in to get a marketing coach. I basically said how to use your phone to sell programs and Facebook to get phone numbers. Easy. So it's got to be specific from their point of view. And then blah, blah, blah. Then 29 lines later, introduce the topic. A lot of people, when they're writing, they hide their topic, which means that nobody ever gets to it. So your topic needs to exist in what you're writing so early that people know if they should read it or not. So if you've got an ad or an ad for a freebie or an ad for a paid thing or a video, you've got to get to your point. You've got to get to your topic straight away. Topic's the number one reason. Like, if people are into your topic, how do they know what your topic is if it's 29 lines later? And, I could joke about this, but this is something that we see with when people become students. It's one of the first mistakes that we're always correcting with people. Like, guaranteed, like that somebody becomes a student, we're going to be having this discussion with you, as in like, get your topic earlier. Next. So if it's one-on-one, it's the other way around. So instead of topic before contact, if it's one-on-one, it's contact before topic. So make your message a desire to connect or a desire for them to contact you or a desire for them to reply. Make it friendly. If you want to be specific, make it specific about them. So here's some examples. It gets better as it moves towards the right side of the page. The left one's okay. You got to reply. So thanks for accepting. How are you going? Good, thanks. This one's okay. I won't say that it's good. I'll say that this one's okay. It's not bad. It's not brilliant. It's not bad because it got a reply. It's not spamming them. It's really just nice and friendly. But it does put the burden of conversation on the other person. And you can see how good thanks is like it's a real lackluster reply, but it's the appropriate reply that it doesn't deserve much more than a good thanks, because thanks for accepting, how are you going? Good thanks. It really doesn't deserve that much more, because the burden of conversation, the burden of imagination, it's almost like saying, hey stranger, I've never talked to you before, but can you tell me a story? No, I'm not going to put that much energy into you. I don't know you. If that makes sense. The next one, hi Joe, congratulations on your event. So it's a little bit more specific. Hi Scott, thank you, appreciate the message. And then, yeah, you seemed so happy and excited. Plus, you speak well, so you're a coach. So this one again it's okay, but it's not brilliant. It's not even good. But the one on the right, this is the good one. So this is kind of basically, there was this event that I was at. There's a guy who invented Quest bars, Tom Bailey, who's this American guy. He built this factory where he within 5 years went from zero to making his company worth over $1 billion. And I got to crew for him because I volunteer for Success Resources. I get to do that. Like, I get paid in coffees and sandwiches. So we don't get paid for the day, but we get to, meet the speakers. We get to ask them questions. Some speakers will leave really fast. We maybe get a group photo. So someone like Tom Bailey, who's worth so much, we didn't really get to chat with him, but we got a group photo and a handshake, and then he's gone. So celebrities like that, like, they're really, really hard to contact. But then there was another person on the stage that day that the crowd just went crazy for, even crazier than they went for Tom. And so she was just brilliant, this mindset coach. She really reached people. And because there was 2,000 people in the room, I tried to talk to her that day, even in the crew t-shirt. It's like, no, I couldn't get close. It's that even like when I had to be close in order to do some duties, I didn't get a chance to talk to her. There was no time for it. So I messaged her later on. This is the message that I sent her. I had a conversation with her just yesterday, and she sent me a message back today, basically saying, yeah, I would love to do some work with you. I'd love to, do a project or something, or arrange something. Just tell me what it is. Let's do it. But like what I said to her, because she was a speaker and she was actually genuinely brilliant on stage. So I said, good work today. We crewed for you today. To us, your message stood out as helpful above everyone else. Keep doing it. So even though this person, like her, she has no ego. Like she's amazing. She's not all about the ego, but secretly, at least everybody at least likes a compliment, if that makes sense. So this showed. I told her who I was. I told her what my relationship to her was. Basically, it says that I've been in a room with you and I've been crewing. I crewed for you one day. Um, so she still didn't know who I was, but it basically says a little bit about me. It says, I crewed for you. She knows then some of my background just from that. It's also a compliment. I haven't requested anything. That's really important that I have not requested anything from her. So this may not be like a something you want to do. You may not be wanting to like find a speaker who's doing brilliantly and partner with them any particular way, but you might want to be using Messenger to get business. The same rules apply. People like to hear something about themselves. They all like a compliment. They like it to be specific about themselves. And they love it when you don't put the burden of conversation on the other person. They also love it when you don't um, ask them to do. It's like you can't message a stranger and say, "Hey, buy my stuff." You can't message a stranger and expect them to do anything for you. They don't owe you that. They're a stranger. There's no relationship yet, if that makes sense. So here's like some rules. Basically, don't send links, long rants, videos, or chain articles. As a long rant, let's say I'm just going to go back just for a second. See, this is a short message I sent her. Good work today. We crewed for you. So it's short. Don't send long rants. So anything like where they need to scroll up to find where the beginning of it is, that's a long rant. Don't send that to a stranger. Don't spam people. So this is from my phone this week. I've taken these pictures. I've removed people's names. The one on the left, I think I've got that like 8 times this week. I don't know what it is, but I see it, I delete it. The same as these other two. There's one on the right. This is from the same person actually, multiple times. They're not even aware that whatever they're sending me, I can't see the attachment unavailable. They're not even aware of that. Maybe they're in a group, like a private Facebook group that I'm not in, which means that maybe they can see it, but when they share it with me, I can't see it. If that makes sense? So it's bad form. I have no relationship with these people. I don't know who these people are. I don't know why they're sending me their stuff. The one in the middle. Hi, Scott. Please go have a look at my first video on you. I don't care. I have no relationship with you. Why do I want to see your video? So that's not a good approach. So step 2, once you've approached a person, so whether it's to the masses, like that we gave you that example, like the one about the phone and Facebook stuff, or it's one-on-one through Messenger or whatever it is, where you're just having a friendly introduction of some kind, where you don't ask them to do something and you say something nice about them to them. After that, step 2 is the banter. So after the approach, you need to create relatability and authority. If you come in just being like the best thing in the world, but they can't relate to you, they won't care. It'll come across as bragging. And if you come across without any authority, you just go in the friend category and they can't become a customer. So banter comes after approach. Remember what we're trying to achieve. The Facebook posts or leads. So are you currently in the process, of doing any of these things? Are you doing a Facebook post, or are you trying to get leads from Facebook? Are you trying to book in sales calls? Are you doing any market research where you're asking people to tell you what they want? Are you asking clients to comply with you? Like if they're already a client, you want them to do what you say? Or are you trying to get people to pay you either before or after the sale? Sorry, during a sale when you're trying to get them to sign up, or after they've booked in and they've made one of their payments, maybe they aren't making the others. Are you struggling with any of these things? So this is just a reminder of what this video is helping you with. Don't be pushy. So if you've seen Pepe Le Pew, like I don't know how old I am compared to other people, but I'm 37, but compared to other people, am I old? Am I young? I grew up watching this. There's a real pushy nature that people have. Sometimes they've got so much passion that they're kind of just scaring people away, and it might be sort of nice for the person who's got the passion, but without permission, without consent, and that's the key word. It's they don't want it. They need to come to. So you're going to put something out and wait for them to come back. You need to put out something good that people want, and then it's not pushy. So it's not too spammy, it's not too often, and it's not too weird, too creepy. Sometimes when people have no passion, they get straight into the steps and then they just start teaching. And so that's when people come across as that boring, hypnotic lecturer or university lecturer that basically just says, here's slide number 1, here's slide number 2. Death by PowerPoint. It's really quite boring. It's like that kids can go to school because they have to, and adults can choose not to go when they've got these mature age study groups that they can go to. You want to make sure that before you get into steps, like, do you remember like at the start of this video, before I got into the steps, I had a bit of banter with you guys. Like, I kind of talked about what I've been up to recently. I talked about my passion. I didn't really tell much of a story. Like, if you've seen a lot of my stuff from the past, I've got a story that I like to tell about a time that my wife left, what that did to me, and then how I had to recover, what I learned, and how what I learned changed my life. I didn't share that in this video, but I still shared results of what's recent. I still do tell stories sometimes, but I always make sure that before getting straight into steps, I make sure that I'm relatable. I make sure that I'm a person to people before I'm just like a teacher of some kind. Step 2, the second part of bantering, your first job after the contact is relatability. So you want to make sure that you're a person, not a script. It's really easy for people to use the same tone of voice all the time, or for them to kind of be too official, too jargony, to be too high above their prospect to the point where it's just not fun. It's kind of like people go like, well, I don't want that in my life. I don't want someone who is so formal that they're part of the system. A lot of people really love individuality these days because there's so many choices. You get to kind of be you. You get to be who you are. So make sure, because authenticity is the number one selling tool. People often, they buy you more than they buy your program. And that's when you know that you've made it. You need to be able to relate to their experience. I love this picture because basically, how would you relate to this rhino? Interesting fact, our nose is always in our field of vision. Our brain just deletes it. But when you're talking to somebody, too many times I've heard people say things like, it's kind of like they say, especially with the Bob Proctor program, I've seen that, and other programs that people are trying to sell. It's a program that it's great. It's absolutely great. But when people are trying to sell it, some people who know how to sell it, they're doing brilliantly. But there's a group of people who don't know how to sell it. And the issue comes down to, it's one of those I help you with everything courses. Selling a success course or selling something that's based on I'm everything and I help you with everything. I've got psychology, then I've got the physiology, and I've got the money, and then the health that relate, and blah, blah, blah. Putting it all into like one big bundle and saying, I help all people with success. It's not very relatable and nobody wants it. And this is a hard lesson for a lot of people to learn. You'll make more money and you'll go wider with people later if you go deeper first. So you've got to pick one thing that people care about. You can really only be famous for about one thing. Then the closer the relationship is that people have with you, the more they can find out that you are actually about everything. But to begin with, you can't be about everything to everybody. You can only be about everything to very few people who know you. So you've got to start with like, what's something that they want? Claim that topic. Is it money? Is it health? Is it relationships? Is it fun? Is it spirituality? Is it time stuff? Like whatever, something practical that they want, and master it. So you've got to come from their point of view. So some examples. Are you this? Do you want that? Are you sick of this? Are you working on that? Are you having trouble with? Use these sentences in your marketing and in your sales calls. So your next job is, after relatability, is authority. So don't validate their victim story. Especially now, people might say something to you like, oh, do you know how like the whole economy shut down? You're like, no, I haven't found that to be true. I've found that a lot of retail stores have closed, but I've found that there's still so much business going on that it's amazing actually that it's pivoted so fast. If somebody gives you a victim story, don't necessarily argue with it, but don't accept it, and don't ease their tension by going, oh yeah. Like just don't do that because you're not doing them any favors. You just sort of, if you were to do that, that would be enabling a bad belief. Like you've got a core belief that you can because you're an expert in what you do. They've got a core belief, and then their automatic thoughts are, they think that everybody's having the same experience as them, and you could be thinking that everybody's having the same experience as you. So the issue with them thinking that everybody's having the same experiences with them is they might think that everyone's poor. They might think that everybody's sad. They might think that no hope is available. So the Dunning-Kruger effect is something really important here. If you haven't heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, it basically means that whether you know lots or whether you know little, you tend to have the mindset that everybody else is roughly about the same. The danger of that is that if you know lots, you give everybody else too much credit thinking that they know as much as you as an expert. And so when you're marketing, it means that you're talking to them at a level that they're not at. And then if a client is a lower level of education than you, or they don't know as much as you, then they don't think that that information exists. They'll be like, oh, well, if relationships were that easy to fix, somebody would have come up with the answer by now. Like, well, someone has actually. In fact, lots of people. There are so many courses. There are an unbelievable amount of books about it. Well, people go, well, if money was so easy to fix, somebody would have come up with the answer by now. It's like, well, lots of people have. They've been writing about it for a very long time, since like Richest Man in Babylon or the Think and Grow Rich. All these, they've worked these things out, and then they've broken it into smaller parts and helped you with little things like just one bit, how to build a web page, or here's a web page template, or here's a phone script, or here's a graphics design part for your marketing, or here's how to just whichever the part is. People have broken it out and they've actually come up with the answers. So someone's core belief is generally based on what they know already. And it's really important to like keep in the mind this idea that not everybody thinks the same, not everybody believes the same things. So your job is not to ease their tension by agreeing with their core beliefs if they're destructive. So positioning yourself that their world may look like this one on the left because that's what they've experienced. That's what their world actually is to them. Yours might be like the one on the right because that might actually be what it is to you. Or it could be the one on the left, I don't know. Depending on what's going on. And a lot of it's perspective as well. The same as kind of like the idea of, are you stuck at home or do you get to be home? It's a matter of perspective. The worst prison a person can be in is the prison of the mind. So even when people are physically in prison, they can still feel, it can be like intellectually or psychologically or spiritually free. They can still be happy. And then there's billionaires who have killed themselves. The richest guy in Germany a while ago, like this was written about in the Tony Robbins book, the money one that he put out recently. And it basically said the richest man in Germany, he invested in the Mercedes cars at the wrong time. He had $12 billion in his pocket and he made an investment. He lost $3 billion. He was down to $9 billion. He had this beautiful family, this wife and children, friends. He was well respected. But in his mind, he was the richest man in Germany. This investment move, which was a mistake, made him the second richest man in Germany. He then went and killed himself. He committed suicide by jumping in front of a train. So it's really a matter of perspective. Like happiness is not dependent on external circumstances. Some people are rich. Some people are poor. Some people do this so easily. Some people don't. And if you can help people to get from where they are to where they need to be, if you can produce like first a clear outcome so they've got something to focus on, and then a roadmap that shows them the steps, then you're doing them the world of good. So the idea is don't validate. So when you're being an authority, the idea is, especially in the first 3 minutes of a call or in anything that you write, relate to them and say that I understand what you mean, or like list their point of view, but don't agree with their point of view, especially if they don't know what the answers are. So share the results stories, like what I've done, like with proof in this video. You've seen leads, you've seen proof of income, you've seen things like that. If in any way, I hope that that inspires you to say, do you know what? Since this recent situation, the economy is still rocking. The economy is still there. People keep coming. People keep buying. That was just from yesterday. People come every day and pay for things because they want help with things. So let your results do the talking. So maybe you're not someone who does financial advice. Maybe you're not somebody who does marketing advice. You might be somebody who does that, but you also might be someone who does relationships or health advice. Those economies are still amazing too. People that can't go to the gym, they're still looking for something. And people are open to the idea of like online stuff. So step 3, context. So what is the big picture or the intended results? This one's really about getting so clear on the finish line. So there's some words people keep using that's far too generic when trying to explain these. People are saying that they want fulfillment. Like, what's that mean? That means nothing. There's no picture. No picture comes up in their head. People will join your cause when they can see it. So when you say to people, I specialize in helping, like, helping what? Oh, anything. It's like, well, no picture comes up in their head. You can't move people unless a picture comes up in their head. So no map or no clear vision, no movement, no results. For your business to thrive, you need to use words and perhaps pictures as well that puts a vision in someone's head. You're not just educating them, you're inspiring them. So it's not just the roadmap and the steps that, yes, you need to be able to give people. It's not just the stories that, yes, you need to give people, but it's the promised land that you need to be able to describe. So with money, health, and relationships, 20 clients a week, is it lose 15 kilos? What is it? So without a result or a clear goal, it's basically just playing darts in the dark or blindfolded. There's no point in being in business. You can't scale unless you can describe a clear outcome that people want to have. The best way to do that is to have one clear outcome that you sell to everybody. You're not going to be stuck in that. It's just that it's like for your first 6 weeks or 6 months, pick one thing and master it. In 6 months' time, pick a second one, pick a third one. Each time you pick another one, you'll get faster and faster at building more breadth and more width to your business. But the first part, don't change niche yet. Stay to one niche and master it for at least 6 weeks to 6 months. So outcomes, things like, do you help people to get 20 clients per week, or to lose 20 kilos, to learn to speak in public, learn to speak French or Spanish, or to remove anxiety symptoms, or is it something else? What do you actually help people to do? So what's the clear picture? Don't say, I help you to do everything, because no picture. No picture will come up. Or everybody's different, so I could help anybody with anything. It's like, yeah, but then you're not really in business because you can't replicate. You can't do it again and again and again. You're not becoming a master of something. 6 weeks at least, please. Stick to one thing. Advertise it, sell it, help people with it, get results for people with it. Get really, really good at one thing, claim your topic. Or else it will destroy your business just to be broadly kind of nowhere. So imagine like one road to the destination. So the clear outcome is the most important step. This is your topic. This is the topic that you're mastering. Claim this topic. You are the master of this topic. Step 4, the do list. So this is the roadmap. So what are your steps or the frameworks? What are the little things that people need to do? And if you can summarize it to 3 to 5. So one way people describe this is the reality, roadblocks, and results. The result is the future where they'll be. I'll just go back again to this slide. These can be results: 20 clients, 20 kilos, speak in public, reduce anxiety or remove anxiety symptoms. That can be the finished result. You've got to be able to talk about that. And then at the beginning, talk about where they are, so relate. So perhaps like whether there's a story, whether it's something else, but to relate, to say that I can help you from where you are to where you need to be able to describe both. Describe the pain. Are you feeling this pain? Are you feeling that pain? Are you feeling that pain? Well, I can help you to get to this result. And then the do list is the steps. So what are 3 to 5 steps that people should do, whether you were going to help them for free or whether you're going to pay them or whether you're going to write an ebook or just give them a video that has the answers? To get that result you help people to get, what are 3 to 5 steps that people need to do that'll help them get there? This is part of mastering your topic. To become bigger, to be able to scale, to be able to brand, to be able to whatever it is that you want to do, to become better at getting people to respond and take action, your topic needs to be mastered. So what's the overall big picture, the context? What's the results? And then what's 3 to 5 steps? So no plan equals no feeling of hope. I've chosen this picture that says no image found because I've had a 10-year history now as a clinical hypnotherapist. I've been a lecturer at the Academy of Hypnotic Science. In my first 6 months, I saw 40 clients per week. And I was on the Hamish and Andy show in Australia in my first year of business. Anyone who's not from Australia, at the time, it was Australia's top show. And I got there. And so what I've always taught, what I've always believed in, what I've always been able to demonstrate from hypnotherapy is the picture that you produce in someone's head dictates their next behavior. If you say to somebody, don't think of the number 3, they'll think of the number 3 anyway. If you say to a young girl, like say she's 5 and it's late, it's time for bed, and you say to her, don't have those nightmares about zombies and vampires that make you wet the bed, she's probably going to now have the nightmares about the zombies and the vampires because you put that image in her head. Another issue is when you put no image in someone's head. You can't move somebody without putting an image in their head. How do you put an image in someone's head? You've got to describe the outcome and describe clear steps to get there, a clear roadmap to get there. Only 3 to 5 broad steps. Then you can go into more depth. So a simple plan equals inspiration. People will believe you when they can see your outcome that you're describing and 3 to 5 simple steps to get there. So again, just to kind of, to bring this one up again, 144 comments just by putting this out, just 4-hour course. You can see that it's not hard. It's actually not hard. Whether you're doing the leads, whether you're building videos, whether you're learning the tech, spending some time with it, being playful. Make a joke webpage or make a silly video or make a silly parody thing before you make the main content. The reason you make a joke one first is it's a game where you get to master the technology without having to try to also get your message right at the same time. So if you can be willing to produce one, like if you're trying to learn technology, whether it's videos, video editing, whatever, come up with something silly first. Be lighthearted, be playful. It builds better neural pathways in your brain, which means then the second video that you make, if it's about your marketing, you won't have to learn the technology because you've already learned it. Now it's just applying the messaging steps. So let our results inspire you, and let your results inspire your tribe as well. This stuff is easy to do. Step 5, execution. So this is either the call to action, which can be the ad, the email, the Facebook post, the type I'm in, whatever it is, the click here, or closing the sale. And we've just covered the SYSTEM acronym in our last Monday's Zoom call, where we went through this 6-step sales system, which took about an hour to go through, to show you how to close something like 3.5K sales in about an hour. Something, where Jackie just recently, like in the last 3 months, has been messaging me like 2 or 3 times a day sometimes saying, I've just made another 3.5K sale, I made another 3.5K sale, another 3.5K sale, 2 to 3 per week, because it just works so well. So that's why we want you to be on those Monday Zoom calls. But let's get into this, the step 5, the execution. So to groups, that's if you're putting out a Facebook post or if you're putting out emails or you're doing ads or something like that. It's either click here or this is what we use on our Facebook posts. Type I'm in to download my free ebook or training video called, then the name of the freebie that you're giving them. If you're emailing somebody, this works with email as well. You say, respond to this email with the word ready if you would like video too. Watch people respond. Get your open rate up. Give people a call to action. If you don't give people a call to action, they do nothing. They just sit there, if that makes sense. Like, it's that people won't take action unless you tell them to. We're so busy these days that people are basically, they move when they're instructed to, if that makes sense. So one-on-one, so if you're doing a sales call or a booking call, this is how you have to end it. After, like, great, I'm excited to do business with you. Or great, let's book the call where I can help you and add value to you for an hour. And that can be like that hour of value that you add to them. That can be your sales call, like the system that we talked about. So you need to say to them, let's set a time, a date, and provide for you, like you'd say to them, you'll provide any links or the payment links and then the homework, and then you'll also send them reminders. So set a time and a date for the next appointment, and then provide them any links or homework and then send reminders. And then you're done. Then you can get off the call. So this is how you need to finish calls. A lot of people leave this out. It sounds weird. A lot of people leave this out. They're on their booking call basically to say, hey, they've gone, you've downloaded an ebook or whatever it is, or you've asked for this call. Is now a good time to talk? Let's schedule it. Let's pick a time. Or they don't pick a time. But you need to. You need to make sure you're always ending your calls this way. It's like what they call fam bam, from a meeting, book a meeting. You've picked up the phone, you've said hello, you've had a 5-minute chat, now book another meeting. And the next meeting can be your pitch. So boom, thank you so much for watching. The 5 secrets to get your niche to respond and to take action. I'd love it if you could make comments, ask questions, let us know what you would like us to make a video about for you, because your questions might be different from somebody else's. You might be asking a question that somebody else needs to hear the answer to. So it doesn't just help you, and we're happy to help you with it, but it might help them as well. We also get a better idea of what you want when you tell us what you're struggling with. So if you're struggling with something, what are you struggling with? Let us know. And there's a high chance that we'll probably build a video about it in this group. So again, thanks for watching. The economy is great. You just need to work it. You've got to be deliberate about the economy. The economy is fine. Do the steps, ask for the help, and you'll get there. I'll see you next time.